Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Bella Shaw. An abandoned old school gets a new life. John Zaragoza joins us, the Ventura County Supervisor for the 5th District, and it's so good to see you.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today.
This is like a dream come true for you.
Absolutely.
You took a personal interest in the school, so give us a little bit of the backstory.
Just to go back a little bit, Bella, what happened there in Nyland Acres, which is a neighborhood in North Oxnard in the unincorporated area of the county. In fact, it's 3354 Santa Clara Avenue. There was an abandoned schoolhouse that the real school district abandoned, and because it was a surplus piece of property. Mm-hmm. And consequently, just to back up a little bit, Nyland Acres has about 3,000 residents. 1,000 of those residents are youth from 18 and under. And there's approximately 600 to 700 children that are elementary school children. They did not have a park or a Boys and Girls Club or a clubhouse at all.
Wow.
Zero. They had nothing. In a neighborhood like that, according to the Parks and Rec standards, should have had at least 14 acres of park, and they didn't have one. So that abandoned school was there, and when I became supervisor several years ago, the first thing that the neighbors asked me was for a clubhouse or a park. And there it was, the abandoned school, so I talked to the real school district, and we got together, we formed a partnership. And from that partnership, then I took over the building. I went over to the Board of Supervisors and asked them, I'd like to have permission to open up this clubhouse for the kids. And they gave me permission. And at that time, we allocated about $38,000 to open it up. And we put a contract between the school district and the county, and we opened it up. But a couple of years later, the school district came back and says, Supervisor Zaragoza, we're out of funds.
Oh, boy.
We cannot continue with the school anymore. So consequently, we're going to have to close it. And potentially, we're looking at parking buses there. Mm. And I said, no, absolutely not. So I went back to the Board of Supervisors and said, hey, look, I'd like to buy this piece of property. And the school district came back and they did an assessment. I'm going to really concise this thing. Mm-hmm. And they came back with an offer that they wanted $640,000 for the property. And we bargained back and forth, and we ended up with about $300,000 offer. And we bought the property. But the Board of Supervisors still wasn't happy. He says, okay, John, he says, what are we going to do now with this property? How are we going to maintain it? Because
we got bills to pay.
Exactly, the operation and maintenance. And the board we have a policy that we got to pay for whatever service we have, has to have some revenue to pay for it. So I went back and was thinking, how can I take care of this piece of property? And we ended up with what we call a community improvement property. And consequently, as a result of that, we had to have a vote from the people. So I went and did a campaign, talked to the people.
This thing gets involved, doesn't it?
Long story short, we needed 2/3 vote from the people there to tax them for the operation and maintenance. And I went and knocked on doors. I talked to about 100 residences. 98 of those people said, yes, we want it. So I campaigned, and finally we ended up with a vote. And when the votes came in, I went over to the elections office, and we were counting the votes. And when they came in, it was no. And I said, oh my God.
Here we go again.
No. And then all of a sudden we had a yes vote, yes, and a no. And then no. And by this time, I was really worried. We ended up winning by 2 votes.
Oh my goodness. That was a nail biter, wasn't it?
Nail biter, 2 votes. And then we bought it. Now we have the CFD that's going to be paying for the maintenance and operations. And also then the Board of Supervisors said we need enough funding to take care of the property or to maintain it, to bring it up to a certain speed. So I went out in a campaign, excuse me for coffee, and talked to different contractors like Toro Paving to pave the parking lot. I went and talked to the Rotary Club of Oxnard. They gave me money. I went over to A to Z attorneys, and they gave me some money. I went to Harrison Rubbish. We collected $160,000 in donations, to bring it up to speed. And now we figure, okay, who's going to run it?
Yeah.
So then we contacted the Boys and Girls Club of Oxnard, Port Hueneme, and we set up a lease with them. And now we're going to lease. We're now leasing the property to them for $1 a year.
Oh, this is
$1 a year, and they're doing an excellent job now with the children. They have after-school programs. In fact, we're getting ready to complete the renovation, and I have a date here. We're going to have a ribbon cutting on April the 6th of 2017, and it's going to be from 10 to 11:30, and the location is 3354 Santa Clara Avenue here in Oxnard, 9 acres. So we're going to have the ribbon cutting for the children, and we're going to have plaques and for the people that donated, and also the residents that help put this whole community facility district together to tax themselves to buy the property. And now, the important thing, now they have their own clubhouse. They have their own couple of acres of park, and also the crime has reduced tremendously. Mm-hmm. The reduction in crime has really helped them because now they have a place for themselves.
They have a place to go.
The parents, it's an ownership type thing. It's theirs, you know. And
so they take great pride in that because
pride,
their
exactly.
hard-earned dollars are going into that.
Exactly right.
And there's nothing else now that can stand in its way?
Nothing else, because now the building belongs to the county, because we bought it, and we're leasing it out to the Boys and Girls Club, and the tax that we're given, that now the taxpayers are paying, is going to support the operations and maintenance of the property. So it's one of those win-win situations, and the children win, we win, the Boys and Girls Club wins, and it's just a great project.
So it was well worth all the headaches that you had to go through to make it happen.
It took a couple of years, but we did it, and now it's beautiful. You know, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's just a big asset, a great asset for the community and the children.
Yeah, and like you said, the crime rate has even gone down.
Gone down tremendously, yeah.
So while I've got you here, Supervisor, why don't we talk a little bit about, we had some heavy rains in February, and how did all that
Well, we had, in February, we've had the rains that, probably the heaviest rains, the most rain we've had in 10 years, and consequently I am now the chairman of the board for the Board of Supervisors, and I belong to the EOC as the chair, the Emergency Operations Center for the County of Ventura. And the rains were really heavy. We were concerned about slides and
the harbor,
harbor, and also over in Camarillo by Spring Roads. We had a slide out there, and we had quite a few streets that were flooded. And also the watershed folks were really concerned about. We have the Santa Clara River, we have the Ventura River, we have many outlets that go right into, or that go onto the ocean. And the freeways, of course, were flooded like you wouldn't believe.
With eucalyptus branches and trunks of
palm
trees.
Fronds. And the palm fronds, too.
Yeah, and all sorts of trees and potholes and rocks. But the emergency system worked. It went out to everybody, on their cell phones.
And the good thing about the emergency center is that the whole county belongs to it. We have the County of Ventura, the cities also have
so that makes it good, like if you're traveling.
Absolutely.
Then you can see, okay, it looks like it's okay here in Oxnard, but I was planning on going to Camarillo.
That's right.
What's the weather like there? And
exactly right. And it's all computerized.
And it's all computerized now, and I noticed before you came on, you were looking at your smartphone. So
That's
we've come a long way.
Exactly
so we're so happy to have John Zaragoza, the Ventura County Supervisor for the 5th District. This has been Local Edition. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bella Shaw.